Everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. And today is something a little different for the 78 because we jumped the border. We're up in Canada, and I'm talking to my friend Anya. And Anya, you came from Ukraine and you are in Canada and you have a business here in the States, but in Canada as well. But you do something very unique that I didn't really know about until recently, and that is breastmilk jewelry. And it kind of stems off of being a mom, the difficulties of breastfeeding, and also doing jewelry in some kind of level for the last 15 years and starting your business here more recently.
Yes, I really enjoy this, and I started it a few years ago. It was my sister's idea, actually. She was breastfeeding at a time, and she called me up and she said, "Hey, I know you're doing jewelry on Etsy, trying to sell, and it's tough because there's competition all over the world with regular jewelry." And she said, "This is a unique idea." And I was so excited. I thought, this is it. This is going to change my life. It was, first of all, very, I could relate to that because at the time I had already 3 children and I really enjoyed breastfeeding journey. Although there were some difficulties with it as well. So I felt like I could create that perfect, piece of beautiful keepsake that can be cherished, so it's, yeah.
You've had an interesting career, from the medical field. You were a doctor in Ukraine, but you didn't even get to practice because you told me earlier that like the day you graduated, you flew over to Canada and had to go and start in Canada. And just that was kind of the introduction into trying to do something that maybe you didn't think you were going to do. And you kind of found your way into making jewelry and then ended up in the breastmilk jewelry business that you founded.
Yes. Yeah, so I actually remember since I was a little kid, I used to play with beads, and I was always passionate about making things with my own hands. And my dad, he kind of dreamt of me becoming somebody that makes kind of living from making my own things with my hands. But he also was a doctor, and he put me in a medical school back in Ukraine. So it was kind of like a bit of a shift from what I really was passionate about, although I really enjoyed medical school as well. So when I came to Canada, I became an ultrasound technologist, and but part of me that, the passion that I had for making jewelry stayed with me always. So I kept trying opening just different stores on Etsy, and it was kind of like intermittent success. But when my sister brought this idea up, it became kind of such a passion because it combined several aspects of my life and of my work as an ultrasound tech, meeting mothers that were having, babies, and relating to them in a lot of ways because I had my own children, having medical background. It does help as well because in production of this jewelry, making the formula was also had something to do with medicine. So it was all kind of combining all these experiences.
Yeah, I was wondering how do you end up even beginning to take breast milk and make it jewelry? That's something that it just boggles my mind that you could even capture that into something that's, a hard surface that people wear on their neck or on their wrist or what have you, right?
Yeah, so the challenge was at the beginning when my sister and I, we started this together, by the way, but the challenge was to create the formula that works to turn liquid milk into powder. And there was no secret given away at the time on the internet, but 2 weeks later, we were lucky enough because somebody actually quit this business. And I should mention that there were several companies that were making this breast milk jewelry, but they had a wait time for about up to 2 years. So there was there was a huge demand, but not enough supply. And that's why I saw a niche there as well. So the formula wasn't available until like two weeks later only. And I think somebody quit this business. And only later I realized why. The actual reason was because the formula wasn't really working. And you don't know that until, so what happened is that we were using the formula, just kind of citric acid on the stove, cooking the milk, kind of turning into powder, then drying it. But the problem is that the breast milk jewelry later would brown or turn yellow. And this is not good for a keepsake, for something that people want to cherish forever, right?
Right.
So we learned that only after a few months has passed that the jewelry turning brown. So we knew that the formula wasn't working. I think that's why one of the ladies quit this business, because it was disappointing. I was lucky enough because my husband, he graduated from UBC and he had honors in chemistry, and he was,
Ah,
yeah, so he saw that I was doing well in business, but I was struggling with certain aspects of it, and I needed help. So he joined in, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because he, first of all, he is very business savvy, and second of all, he helped me develop perfect a formula that is completely different, and it allows us to process multiple milks at the same time and make it so that the milk is really cured and there's no bacteria or any kind of fungus growing in there, which used to cause the issue, right? So,
mhm.
mhm.
And it's taken off for you. You've been in, how long have you been in your actual the breast milk jewelry business now?
Okay, that one is it's kind of like a tough question a little bit, because I started slow. So I think it's around close to 5 years now, but with my husband, it's 3 years.
And that's when the formula really got to where it is, where so these pieces, now you have it in a way where it's a quick turnaround. They don't tarnish, basically turn brown, right? So like, describe the actual piece of jewelry itself, like the breast milk part.
So we turn it first into powder, and then we mix it with clear resin, which is plastic. But we add there all kinds of things. We can put there real gold flakes, silver flakes, all kinds of birth color, month color flakes, also babies' names, birth dates, locks of hair. So there are keepsakes that are very complex, as well as just simple rings with a stone made in a diamond shape, for example, things like that. But a lot of them, we have how we look different from our competitors, I find, is that a lot of our items, they combine so much more than just milk and lock of hair. As I said, there's also feet prints we can put in there. So,
Oh, wow.
right? So yeah, so there's a lot of customization that goes into it. So we can make like the perfect keepsake in the end.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful gift for mothers on Mother's Day or throughout the year in general. But it's a great way for moms to have that special bond with their children as their children age and get older. They'll remember that moment that was so special, and that critical time of bonding when children are breastfeeding with their mothers. That's such a critical time to bond. So this is such a great gift. It's such a unique gift, and I imagine certain people might get weirded out because it's breast milk. But you know what? Like it's art, and art can be. It's in the eye of the beholder, the beauty of it. So it's a wonderful thing that you found here. It's really something different and unique.
Yes, you said that it's some people might be weirded out by it. Totally. I actually, when I heard about it, I thought this is so strange, but there was something at the same time captivating about it. And I think in the end, when I work in ultrasound, I still do. I have connections there, and I enjoy my work environment there. So there's a lot of new mothers there, and they know what I do. And at first they like, I don't know about this. This is strange. But everyone in the end wants a little keepsake from me. And of course, I don't charge them for that because I know those people. But yeah, so they kind of get used to the idea, and it starts being more exciting for them. And yeah.
So how long is the process? I imagine the mother has to supply a sample, give it to you and your organization to kind of turn it into this jewelry, and after they pick it out and all that stuff. But from the moment when they decide what they want and send it out, how quick of a turnaround is that for moms?
So it does differ depending on the time of the year, because we do have some busy times like Mother's Day and Christmas. We do have rush turnaround, which when we process everything within 4 weeks. But we also, on average, it's about 6 to 8 weeks, 8 weeks for rings, because we have to order them from suppliers, the actual part of the ring, right?
Sure.
And some complex items may take a little, like about 8 weeks, but on average, it's about 6 weeks. So
That's not bad.
Mm-hmm. The actual processing of the milk from the moment we get it to turning into powder ready for me to make a piece, it's about 2 weeks, and then it's queued. So it takes a couple of weeks for me to make it. So, but what also is good about our company, what we do is we send a breast milk collecting kit to the customer, where if there's order number, their name, so they can put their milk into container and send it back to us. And
Almost like those DNA kits.
That's correct. Yeah. So yeah. And so that makes it easier for the customers, and they don't have to pay for shipping because it's all covered by us.
Yeah, and quicker than getting a passport, because getting a passport in this country takes like 10 weeks now for some reason. So well done on that. But thank you so much for taking time to join me and talk to me about your journey there from Ukraine to Canada, and then having this business here, and really providing this wonderful thing for moms to have for their children, moms and aunts, I imagine, anybody who wants that, that's even a dad, I imagine, if they wanted one, as long as there's the milk, right, and
Yes.
mom's permission, whatever mom wants to do with it. But it's a wonderful idea. How can people find out more information about this?
Well, we have a lot of information on our website, KeepsakeMom.com, where we go into detail about the actual process and how to ship the milk to us. If they, for example, from a different country where we don't ship breast milk kits, outside of the US and Canada, how to do it, how to deliver milk, how we make the item, kind of detailing everything. It's all on our website.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anya, so much for joining me, and we'll make sure we link this story to my website. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Happy Mother's Day, and
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you so much.